It is Bruins Benders post-game live on the Inside the Rink YouTube channel, the special Four Nations edition with Matty and Smitty. Click subscribe, get your Bruins Benders merch on InsideTheRink.com/Bruins-Benders. Follow us on all the social media at Bruins Benders. And Team Canada wins the Four Nations championship 3-2 in overtime on a golden goal by Connor McDavid, which I guess it's fitting that the best player in hockey gets the golden goal, just like the 2010 Olympics when Sydney won it for Canada.
Yeah, I mean, it helps when you leave the guy wide open.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible.
I mean,
cover him
of all the guys to leave wide open, probably picked the wrong guy. You know, if it was Brad Marchand or Seth Jarvis, maybe you got a chance, but not Connor McDavid. And look, Jordan Bennington in OT stole the game for Canada. I mean, made a couple of dandies on Austin Matthews, made a ridiculous save on Brady Tkachuk along the goal line. You know, so Bennington comes up big. You know, softies earlier in the tournament, and he's absolutely unorthodox at times. He's flopping all over the fucking place. Sorry, John.
Sure,
he's all over the place. But when it comes time to make a big save and nut cutting time, he shows up.
He does, and that's what makes you. That's what kind of makes you frustrated with the guy. It was like this guy isn't that good, and then all of a sudden he steals games and series and Four Nations, and I mean he wins the cup in 2019, right in TD Garden. He wins Four Nations tonight in TD Garden, and you just think like you're waiting for the day where you're just gonna drop 8 on him because he just doesn't look like he's that good, and then he just finds a way. You know, and on top of it all, he's a douche.
Yeah.
So there's the other thing. You know, I don't really like the guy.
No.
So there's another thing.
Yeah.
But this was great hockey. I mean, this was more of a Game 7 type game where it was great defensive hockey, and I mentioned to you guys in the group chat, like the tape-to-tape passing, like you just like the zone breakouts and everything are just at a different level. Like, and I know I've been watching the Bruins, so I'm sort of skewed, this year. But Jesus, it just seemed like every breakout pass was on the tape and hitting the guy in stride. And even though defensively teams are really good, I still thought that the offense, the passing was good and the offense was decent. It's just that everyone was so defensively sound, and they have great defensemen out there, and great, forwards who know how to play defense. And I just thought it was a great all around hockey game.
Yeah, it was. It was a great game overall. And you're right. I think both teams were trying not to get beat. I think the Team USA losing Matthew Tkachuk, halfway through the second really hurt them, because I thought when Tkachuk, the brothers were out there together, they really caused chaos at the net front for Canada.
Oh my goodness.
And that was how they scored their goals. Like Brady got one, and Sanderson got one because Brady was there, and Matthew was there, and everybody was focused on them, and he walks in and puts it home. So that was a big loss for Team USA. A bunch of guys, I think, on both teams were either playing hurt or sick. And so it'll be interesting to see, when Saturday rolls around, how many of these guys are actually in the lineup for their NHL teams.
I know, and that's what they were talking about. I think it was Emily Kaplan who said, a lot of these guys won't be ready to go Saturday.
Yeah.
So I think that's true, and it's going to be hard to kind of turn the page, and you've got 25 to 27 games, whatever is left in the season, and a lot of these teams are really battling for playoff positioning. And you're bringing your star players back. I mean, these aren't just regular guys on your team. This is your top players on your teams coming back banged up and need a little bit of extra time. And Bruins lose Charlie McAvoy for maybe the season, as Sean McDonough said, which was an interesting comment. I don't know if he just threw that out there or if he had some intel or whatever.
I mean, the guy's in a sling and he's week to week, so it certainly doesn't look good.
No, he is.
It certainly doesn't look good. I think,
and it was a serious AC joint injury. that was said that
with an infection that put him in the hospital for multiple days.
So I think, look, we have 7 weeks left. I don't think he's coming back.
I agree. I don't think he is either.
And Hampus Lindholm wasn't at practice the other day, and Joe Sacco said there was no time frame for him either. So I'm really thinking this lines up for the Bruins to go long-term IR with McAvoy, clear a bunch of room, and get busy. You know what I mean? There's no other way to do it.
Yeah, if you can trade some guys and bring in, some talent that maybe is, has high contracts that aren't great, now's the time. Now's the time to do it when you can utilize the long-term IR, and you don't have you didn't have a lot of cap space, but now with the McAvoy thing, that opens up a lot of room. So they should be able to make some moves here, and they should take advantage of it 100%.
Yeah, they should. But tonight, Brady Tkachuk, he would look so good in the Bruins uniform. We've talked about this before. It'll never happen, probably, but
no.
And if I'm Ottawa, like any whisper of them dangling him, whatever, I don't get it. Like you keep that guy. I mean, you trade anybody else, but that guy. I mean, that guy's a culture guy. He's a guy that just creates your identity. I mean, he almost single-handedly won the game for US. He scores that goal at the net side there. He single-handedly probably wins the thing. And when he played, when he and Matthew played with Austin Matthews,
I
mean, that was as dangerous as hell. I mean, that's a big, heavy line that's all gifted. Can score. Like that's a nightmare. That is a nightmare.
It is because both the Chucks are just hard to play against. Brady will put you through the glass. He was killing people out there.
Right. He was even edgy in the intermission fucking interview. He was just like everything was hard. Everything was like, we just gotta finish the 40 minutes. It's great to play with Matthew, but we're gonna win this game. Like he was just like,
he wanted so bad to tell Emily Kaplan to fuck off. I mean, he really did.
He really did.
Yeah,
he really did.
I mean, he was in game mode. He was in the zone. He was ready to tell everybody to fuck off.
Yeah. So what about this roster that Sweeney's put together?
Sweeney's. Our buddy.
Yeah.
Don Sweeney.
Yeah.
GM of the Four Nations victorious Team Canada. Yeah, great job by Sweeney's.
Yeah. I mean, he puts this. I mean, obviously, he has a pick of the litter.
I could put Team Canada's roster together.
He doesn't have to draft. He doesn't have to trade.
No.
He just handpicks the best players from Canada.
Go out and handpick the best guys from Canada. It's it's real difficult.
Yeah, it is. Some of the U.S. players that I thought,
let's go through this, and we want the people in the comment section to chime in too, and some of you already have. Who are your 3 best and 3 worst kind of for each team?
Okay. 3 best for US, 3 best, and 3 worst for Canada and US. Okay. 3 best for me for the US are obviously Brady Tkachuk was outstanding. Swayman was outstanding.
Yes.
I mean, he's a friggin' brick wall defenseman. He's 30 years old, but he's out there and he shuts everything down. I didn't realize. And I'll tell you what, I didn't realize how good Brock Faber is. At 22 years old. I mean, he is at 22. He is really, really good. And the U.S. has 2 22-year-old defensemen in Sanderson and him that are like, boy, that's a great future in USA hockey right there.
Yeah.
That group. And I thought that Swayman was great. So I'd say those 3 guys for me. And Eichel was good too.
Yeah.
But those 3 or 4 guys I thought were the best. Connor has a
Connor's gonna chime in.
A quick aside on your Brock Faber glazing of the donut a la Ray Ferraro. Do you think the Kings are really fucking kicking themselves for sending the wild Faber in a first-round pick for Kevin Fiala?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, I mean, Fiala's been good. So he's been good for the Kings, especially early on. So. That might be a hockey trade that was, both teams benefited from that thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Because the Kings still have one of the best defense in the NHL. It's like they're not hurting for defensemen.
No, they're not.
Doughty, Gavrikov, Brant Clark, I think got sent down.
Sent down because it's so
because Doughty was coming back
deep
and he had like 20 something points, I think, which is put him, towards the top of anyone on the Bruins. So they were dealing a little bit from a position of strength there. The first round pick, they probably wish they wouldn't have done, but
right. But hey, Minnesota with Faber and Boldy. That's some good young talent right there. Yeah. And Rossi.
Yeah.
And Kaprizov.
Yeah, obviously.
Gets back healthy. Christ. I mean, that's a pretty talented team.
It is.
On the Canada side, I thought that well, and another guy who was pretty good for US was Dylan Larkin. I thought Larkin was really good. And Larkin's a guy I'd love the Bruins to try to get. I really would.
Yeah.
Of course, in division, I don't think that'll ever happen.
No.
But for Canada, I didn't think McDavid was all that great until he scored the goal. I thought he was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think he stood out like I thought he might. But some of the Canadian, I don't know. The thing was about Canada was that their offense. Their offensive players are so good. Obviously, McKinnon was one of the best players on the ice. He's probably the best. He could be the best player in the world right now. You could make that argument with McDavid. But I really thought that they had 26 shots on net. I really thought the U.S. did a really good job, especially second and third period, with really shutting down and blocking shots, tons of blocks, deflections, shutting down passing angles, shooting angles, all of that. I thought they did a really, really good job against the Canadian forward group that's really, really highly talented.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they did do an excellent job until they left Connor McDavid alone in the slot in overtime.
Yeah.
That was not so hot. For me, the 3 or 4 best guys for Team USA, I agree on Brady Tkachuk. I thought he was awesome all tournament long. Eichel was really good, kind of taking away McDavid, I thought, until they maybe, got him off, or Ron Cooper got McDavid away from Eichel there a little bit. Towards the end, Eichel was really good. I thought Zach Werenski was good all game. I think he led Team USA in points. I think
Werenski's excellent. He's had a great year.
Yes, and I agree on Slavin too. He was a monster back there. Like everything died on when they were trying to come at him. He was really good.
But I'll tell you what, the best guy I thought overall, and the guy that Canada really should bow down to now, after some of the grief he's gotten, is Mitch Marner. I mean, he had the overtime goal against Sweden. They had to win that game. If they don't win that game, they'd be coming from behind and trying to salvage anything out of the tournament. He gets that goal, and then tonight he was great. I mean, he's a great playmaker. I know he gets a lot of grief. He's not super physical. I know that Toronto's a tough place, and they get all up on him, and I don't see him every single night. But I'll tell you, I'd get Mitch Marner. I'd throw the bag at Mitch Marner.
I'm 100% in on Mitchie.
Yeah.
Like he can pass the puck. He can pass the puck. He has great, like the pass to who was it? Bennett. The little subtle, he crosses into the middle.
He was there, first of all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he almost hits, who was it? Was it McDavid backdoor? Cross crease. He waits. Yeah. He waited out the defenseman. He goes cross crease, and if it wasn't for JT Miller's back check,
the Miller back
on
check,
the tape, and it's in the net. He just has tremendous vision, and I thought he was absolutely one of their best players. 100%.
Yeah, I'd throw the bag at call him Mitchie 3 apples or whatever. I don't know, but I'd throw the bag at that guy. I really would.
Yeah.
If I'm the Bruins, if he gets to market or whatever, I do a complete. I just try to get that guy. Play Marner with Pastrnak.
Yeah,
I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, I'll buy tickets to that.
Sure.
I mean, for God's sakes. I mean, I know they wouldn't be the best defensive group you've ever seen, but who gives a fuck? You know what I mean?
It'd be fun. If they're gonna lose, it might as well be fun.
Right. Have it be 6-5.
Right now they're losing, and it's not fun at all.
No, it's not at all. No, because offensively they suck.
Yeah.
And I'd rather lose 7-6 than 4-1. You know what I mean?
8-2
8
or
to
7-1.
Yeah, to the good teams.
Yeah.
Sure. Some of the guys who aren't great, I just thought that I think this is the end of the run for Marchand, and is when it comes to this type of thing, he played fourth line minutes. The other night he played 8 minutes. It just seemed like, there was a couple of opportunities he had with that line with Jarvis, but overall, really had a hard time keeping up, I thought, with some of the real dynamic players out there. Didn't really do all that much. And I think when the Olympics come next February, I don't see Marchand on the roster.
No, he's probably going to be on the outside looking in. I thought for the time that he was out there, he did generate some chances. He almost won the damn thing in overtime, taking it to
the overtime. He should have had. You know what? I'll tell you what. Coming down in that play, and I can't remember who it was, but if they saucer passed him the puck, I think it was Jarvis who took a shot that got blocked aside.
Yeah.
If he saucer passed it to the right side to Marchand, I think he one-timers that in and wins it.
Probably.
But he tried to shoot it through legs.
Yeah.
And it wasn't there, but he was there. Marchand was there ready to go. So I don't think it was bad. I just think that, they're going to, by next year, they're going to want to have, just a better, more productive player there. And they're going to have a younger, more dynamic kind of player. There. And that's just kind of what it is. So, and Crosby didn't do all that much either in this tournament, and he's showing age too. But he's gonna be grandfathered in next year, I'm sure.
Oh, he'll be on the team.
Last hurrah for him.
He'll be on the team.
But Marchand just didn't have that.
I think he had 3 assists though one of the first games. Crosby.
He didn't have many shots on net. Like he just doesn't.
They said he's got an elbow injury or something, which might be keeping him from shooting.
Okay. Yeah, he'll be there.
He will.
Cab mentions Colton Parayko. Parayko has always been like a beast. In 2019, he completely dry humped you. He's just he's so good, and he's so big and strong and nasty and tough, and he is an underrated player for sure. Like they say in the comments, he 100% is. But there's some other guys. Brock Nelson, I don't think he'll be there next year.
No.
Kreider won't be there, and the Kreider decision was interesting to me because they play Kreider over Kyle Connor, who's one of the top point getters in the league right now, and young and in his prime, and then they don't play Kreider for a period and a half. Yeah, I don't know why you have to force him into the lineup, without playing Connor, to not play him much at all. Weird.
Yeah, I don't get that. There was some weird decisions on Team USA's roster. Like, why was Tage Thompson left off? Like there was some guys that were left off that you shake you, like John Carlson in Washington was left off. Like some weird decisions to me with their roster. And maybe that'll change, next year for the Olympics. I'm assuming it will. Like you said, I think the Brock Nelsons will be gone, the Kreiders will be gone. And they'll probably go with a little more youth and speed, I would imagine.
Well, the GM for that tournament it would be a different person. I don't know who that is. Do you know who that? Do they decide that?
I think it's
a selection.
I think it's already decided. I think it's somebody with USA Hockey, probably.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Maybe it hasn't been decided. I don't know. Yeah. But I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be Guerin again.
No, I don't think it's gonna be Guerin. No, but it'll be interesting to see what these. I think largely these rosters will be the same in a lot of ways, but there'll be some tweaks. Connor Hellebuck, he had that tough screen job. He didn't see that puck till late for McKinnon.
Fact check for you guys. Bill Guerin actually was already announced to be the GM of the Olympic team as well. So
he is.
This and the Olympic team.
So Brock Nelson will be back, and Chris Kreider will be back.
Okay.
And the young guys on Team USA that can score won't be there. So
Kyle O'Connor will get the hose next February. Yeah, great. Yeah, giving him the business.
Yeah, interesting.
Quinn Hughes, maybe he should play. He's only
I think he was like a little banged up. I think that's why he wasn't there initially.
Throw him in there. Okay.
Yeah, and then he healed, and then they're trying to get him there. So, but yeah, I mean, look, the USA has a lot of defensemen that could be on the team.
Sure. The USA has great defensemen.
I mean, the guys that were there already, for this tournament, and then Quinn Hughes wasn't there, John Carlson wasn't there. Mm-hmm. So, there's 10 there that could make the team or should be in consideration. So,
yeah. Jake Sanderson is a guy. I mean, you're right about Ottawa. I mean, they scored the first 2 goals for the US. They're better than the Bruins.
Yes, they are
better than the Bruins. And it was, and Smitty's words were truer than ever when you saw those 2 guys playing out there. I mean, the Bruins don't have that.
No,
certainly not at that age of Sanderson being 22.
Yeah,
certainly not a player like Tkachuk.
Yeah, they're younger and deeper, and now they have a goalie. So they're better than you. Yeah, they just got to figure out how to win. And if those guys, playing in this tournament, they didn't win the game, but getting that kind of experience to get to the finals and playing big games and score big goals, like that can only help them. Ottawa going forward.
No, maybe Florida sends Matthew to Ottawa. Or like Josh Norris and somebody, and says, "Okay, here we go.
Maybe
here we go. Here they come, the Tkachuks." But it was great. It was great hockey. I thought the atmosphere was really good. I thought at one point though, the Bruins, the Boston fans, a lot of kind of sitting on their hands thing when Canada takes the lead. Like it would have been better if it's not the Bruins or whatever. It's USA Canada. Let's have everybody standing up all game and just chanting and clapping and getting after it. You know what I mean? And I expected a little bit more of a college type atmosphere, because at the beginning of the game, I thought, boy, that's a pretty electric crowd. Like it looks really, that atmosphere.
Yeah,
and then it was,
well, you know what the problem is there.
What's the
problem is? The tickets are fucking $4,000.
So those hammerheads don't get to go.
Right.
They're gonna get all lit up and they're at the greatest bar, like
exactly
rolling all over each other.
If you want to see what the atmosphere should have been, go into the greatest bar, or go into Sully's, or go into some other local establishment around the garden, and you'll see what it should be like. But it's the wine and cheese crowd that goes to the games because the tickets are $4,000.
Golf claps, and
a regular person can't get into the games.
Yeah, drinking martinis.
And they pay $35 for a mixed drink. But those aren't the people that should be at the games. It should be the people spending $3 for a Miller Lite at Sully's.
No. Well, those board of governors members, the Jacobs family, they loved tonight.
Oh yeah,
they loved it. They had a Woodrow just watching that unfold. There's no question about it. Well, we were wrong, as we said last night. We were wrong about this tournament. I thought this tournament was going to be a wet fart.
Yeah,
it was an extension of an Olympics, or it was a typical international play type thing. And you know what? The other thing is, a lot of these guys playing, have that World Junior experience where that's a big deal for them at that age. You know what I mean? So this is another type of tournament like that. So I think the World Juniors creates a lot of that too. So that now when they're older and they play in something like this, it kind of manifests itself.
Yeah, I think all of them want to play. I mean, that's the biggest honor you can have. Playing for your country. In an international tournament like the Olympics or like this thing. We thought it would be more like an exhibition because it didn't really mean anything, but they made it mean something. The guys really had pride in their jerseys and went out and played hard the entire tournament, all the teams. And it ended up being really good hockey. So, kudos to I guess you got to give it to them. Kudos to the NHL. And especially the players for, laying it on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. C2 Paint's getting a little anxious, so he wants to get to the fan comments.
Right,
so
let's get to the
we're on it, okay, even though it's our program. we'll go ahead and do that for you. Soft D in OT, McDavid wide open in the slot, says New Hampshire Bruin 77, and that's echoing what Smitty said. Yeah, I can't leave that guy open.
Yeah, I mean, the wrong guy.
Austin Matthews is banged up. I'll give him that. And he did look banged up skating. Like, there was a couple of times where he had to kind of really get after it skating, and he looked kind of slow.
Yeah.
It looked like there was something hampering him.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of guys were. But I think that he wasn't at, top notch. He did have a golden opportunity to win the thing. A couple of times, and Bennington shut him down a couple of times when those should have been goals. So if that goes in, we probably aren't having this conversation.
No, I don't think we are.
I think so. There's that too. There's that. And look, he's Austin Matthews. He's on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I can give a fuck. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, right. I hope he never scores again. But I will give him the benefit of the doubt that he had a couple of chances and he's hurt.
Tell you what, the next time I hope he scores is in the fucking Olympics in 2026. That's the next time. I hope he scores.
I hope it's not next Tuesday.
I hope he has fucking 12 goals in the 2026 Olympics.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Light the fucking world on fire.
Just
we'll call him Captain America. Everybody will rally around. It'll be fantastic.
Just not Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Matthew should have the C, says Kyle Galusha, unless it stands for see you next Tuesday. Yeah. Ryan M. Jack Hughes and Adam Fox sucked all tourney. I thought Adam Fox was bad. You mentioned it too in the group chat, Smitty, that Fox was awful. I didn't think he was great at all. I think he's the worst defenseman they had. I mean, those other defensemen really kind of exposed him. First of all, he's the worst offensive defenseman of that group. Anyway.
Agree.
But I just think that those other guys made him look bad.
He's having a bad year for the Rangers.
He is. Yeah, he's regressed.
I mean, he's offense is his game, and he's not producing offense. He seems to have lost his confidence. The team's not very good. The Rangers team, and it kind of carried over into this tournament. And he wasn't very good. He wasn't very good all tournament long.
I think he's having a Bruce Cassidy, Brandon Carlo moment with Peter Laviolette, probably.
Yeah,
and it's probably not a great situation for him this year. But he hasn't been good this
Jack
year.
Hughes, I thought wasn't bad tonight. He didn't get a lot of good line mates. I felt like he was around the puck and he was trying to generate chances, but it just didn't seem to work out. I didn't think he was like noticeably bad. Like, he wasn't doing anything that really cost the team. He just wasn't, his usual self as far as producing.
In this high end tournament with all this, just there's some big fucking boys out there.
I mean, that's a problem.
He's pretty small. Like, he looked like Patty Kane out there, like just tiny. You know what I mean? And those other guys are just fucking huge. Like, so there were times where I'm like, he looked out of place a little bit because he is so small compared to everybody else.
I mean, even though he's been in the league forever, he's still only 23 or something.
I know.
He's got some, some maybe maturing to do there still.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll look, he's going to make the team next year. He's going to be there.
So he's going to be there for this next year and then 4 years from now, probably.
Yeah. So
all the users.
Hopefully he can, all the users. Hopefully he can figure it out.
Yeah. Gus Selsa says Don Sweeney now will get a 10-year contract. Yeah, sure.
Hopefully it's from fucking Team Canada, not the Bruins.
Hopefully. Bruins 1970 says I was wrong. Bennington was good enough. He's been good enough in certain aspects.
Yeah.
C2 Payne, it's obvious John Cooper knows what he's doing. As much as I hate to say it, USA had their chances. Lock in 1-on-1 times 2. You have 2. Score the puck, motherfucker. Sorry.
Yeah, John. I mean, John Cooper is a great coach. I don't think there's any denying that. He knows what he's doing. He knows strategies. He knows systems. He knows buttons to push. He knows what he's doing. He's won a few cups. He's done a good job with, having some injuries. They've made some tough decisions down there and moved on from Stamkos, and they've still kind of held it together and pieced it together. And Tampa's still right there, and they're dangerous. And he's a big part of that. I mean, they obviously have talent, but he's kind of holding that thing together. And he does a really good job with them.
Yeah. I mean, he does. I mean, he knows what he's doing. So Brock Nelson, Rowan B, brings up Brock Nelson. With a guy like Brock Nelson in this environment, like, would he hurt his stock at all? Like, Brock Nelson's been a guy who's been in the trade rumor mill for a bit, connected with all sorts of different teams, even the Bruins in some ways as a fit. I mean, is Brock Nelson wasn't great. And in this setting, does he actually hurt his stock some?
Possibly, but I mean, he wasn't getting a lot of minutes, and like, I don't know, is he more of a power play guy now? He's not fast, so
no, he's 33.
He's probably perfect for the Bruins because he's not. He's 33.
Not fast. He's 33. Yeah.
But he can score in tight, so I don't know if he necessarily hurts his stock. Is my point.
I'll tell you what. I think that the Bruins should have gotten Jake Gensel. And again, in this tournament, he's showing that he's just an elite goal scorer. He creates all sorts of chances.
Yeah.
And I think he got a real lift starting playing with Sidney Crosby when he started and won the cup as a rookie. Gained a bunch of confidence, learned how to play, learned where to be, and it's really paid off for him. He's an elite goal scorer in the league. And again, go back in time. I say you throw the bag at Jake Gensel and not try to contrive something, not try to create something with Elias Lindholm.
Yeah, I mean, that's the case of, not necessarily drafting for need, but signing for need when you really should be signing the best player available. Like, you need good players. You don't need to fill a certain role. You need good players. Like, you need to get the best player you can get. And I think the Bruins forget that because I think they draft for need a lot. I think they draft for a particular size or whatever instead of just getting the best players. Just get the best players and then figure it out after that. Like, if you have too many really good defensemen, that's not really a problem.
That's a problem.
Or too many really good forwards, that's not a problem. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Then you could trade one of them and maybe get something really good back in return. So just get the best players and then figure it out.
Yeah. Y2 Jones says result sucked, but it was great hockey, and he will never like Bennington. F him.
Correct.
C2 Paint disagrees with me. He thought that Larkin sucked. I thought that Larkin was pretty good. I saw some good things from Larkin. I didn't think the U.S. had enough, depth through the forward group. I think that at the end of the day, now look, Brady Tkachuk scores and they win the thing.
Yeah,
but I think that they really have to work on their balance. They have some kind of dead wood with Kreider and Nelson, and they need to put in some Kyle Connor and some younger guys in there. They need to, next year, they need to go younger, faster, all the way through the forward group, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and they have to kind of get a mix. Like, so Dylan Larkin was playing fourth line. Like, that's not really his forte. So maybe you build it more like an actual team and you don't have,
you build
playing 20 minutes a night on the power play,
Right.
So I don't know. I didn't love the way Team USA built the roster, and Larkin was playing fourth line with, guys that were playing 8 minutes a night. It's tough to do anything in that situation, but still,
that's the thing. That's the thing.
Comes down and scores in the game on what was it? The game Sunday?
Yeah, it was the Sweden game, right?
Yeah, Sweden game.
Yeah.
Scores in that one on a nice goal.
Yeah, sure.
And had some opportunities. So he was fine tonight. Like, he wasn't the reason they lost.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. And I think the thing is that you tend to want to create this roster like it's a fantasy roster, like it's fantasy league, and maybe you need to get some natural penalty killers. It was one penalty call tonight. Like, you had to commit murder to commit a penalty.
Yeah.
So, and it's probably going to be like that in the Olympics too when it comes down to it. The last game, gold medal game, probably not. That's probably not going to be a big deal. But I think you should get, some guys who could play third line, and some guys who could play some defensive hockey, take a defensive zone draw, that type of thing. And I think those things have to be accounted for. But there are some guys on the team. I just thought throughout the lineup, like there were times where there were lines out there for US where they're not going to score right now.
Right.
And then it was really about the Tkachuks. And whether they were playing with Matthews or Eichel or Larkin, because it was all of them. It was all about the Tkachuks, really, and Brady was at the forefront. So I think you need more if you really want to win an Olympic gold when you're playing all sorts of different teams. And, you got Chechir and you got some other teams out there that are really good and are going to be fighting for an Olympic gold. So it's going to be an even harder tournament. So you need to really put that together.
Yeah.
Ryan M. sadly thinks that Marshy played himself out of the Olympics next year. He did look good in OT, though. He did. If the Tkachuks bothered Binnington like they bothered Allmark 2 years ago, he would have blown up, says Michigan Mike. That's the thing about Binnington. You got to get him hot-headed. You got to get him off his game. I think Brady Tkachuk did that, and I think that the Tkachuks were in front of the net. They were creating some, but again, wasn't enough through the lines. Wasn't enough.
No.
So, and that's where you get Binnington. You get him off his game. He puts in he lets in a leaky one, and then you might have something.
Yeah.
But once he gets going, he's shown that in the past right here
Mm-hmm.
in Boston. Marchand was the second player to lift the trophy. That's the only trophy he's going to lift up unless he gets traded, says Joe Bendera. You are correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's getting traded, Joe. I'm saying it again. I'm saying it out loud again so that you can come back to this very program. And I can tell you that I said it because I think I'm really confident it's going to happen. I really am. I think it's going to happen. And even today, he said, they asked him about TD Garden and playing here and playing this game here. And he said, I love the city. I love the fans. And it almost seemed like, again, another sort of directed comment that laying the groundwork. Like, I do love it here. I don't want to, it's not my, maybe his choice, but it's not, his number one priority to leave. It's just that it's time to leave. So I think a lot of the things he's been saying and how he's been saying it are leading me to believe that he's going to get traded.
It will be interesting to see if that happens because I think
McAvoy's out and Lindholm doesn't come back.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really hard. You have a 15% chance of making the playoffs.
You don't have to convince me, dude.
I mean,
you don't have to convince me. You have to convince Sweens.
What's the extension look like? Are you giving the guy 3 years, $21 million?
No.
I'm
not.
I don't care what he is, who he is, what he did, any of it. I don't care. I'm not giving him that. So,
I agree with you.
And he's not taking a discount, folks.
You have to make the hard decisions sometimes, and that would be a hard decision, just like Tampa did it with Stamkos.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to make a hard decision that is unpopular. Sometimes it is going to be unpopular with the fan base, but it will be the right decision for the franchise. Can Sweeney do that? I don't think so.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
Goof.
Again, this is why, and Tampa's better than you still.
Yep.
After they did it. Once again, says C2 Paint, who's on one tonight. Somebody dancing on Bruin ice. Motherfucker, give me a break. Yeah. We let this slip away, says at New Hampshire Bruins 77. Without a doubt, this roster should have won. They had the better opportunities in overtime. They did have some opportunities in overtime. And Binnington stood on his head. And then you left Connor McDavid wide open.
Yeah.
In ball game. Yeah, that's a problem. So Suspect 63 played himself out. He had a goal in the tournament, a lot more than the others did. I just think that he's not going to be there, Suspect 63. And I know you're a big fan.
Yeah.
And I am too. But I don't see him playing in the Olympics, making the Olympic team next season. I don't next year.
I mean, the only reason they would do it is because he can kill penalties and like do that kind of thing and be a leader on the team.
Maybe an alternate or something. Sure.
I mean,
maybe
it might be the same exact role because he can do that role. He played fourth line. He could be a pest and aggravate people and kill penalties and stuff. Like he might have the same exact role at the Olympics next year.
And I'll tell you what, you have to deal with the Tkachuks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you need a guy like Marchand, which they don't have a lot of. Canada doesn't play that way.
No.
You know what I mean? Largely. They don't have this roster. They don't have a lot of those types of guys.
No. Tom Wilson has entered the chat.
Huh?
Tom Wilson has entered the chat.
Tom Wilson go fuck himself. He's at Capitals practice, like fucking rabbit punching his own teammate Brandon Duhaime today. Like, come on, dude. Who gives a shit? I mean,
he might.
No way.
He might be on the Olympic team. Tom Wilson.
Okay, great.
I'm serious.
I'm gonna put some money down on the U.S.
There was the argument that he was to be on this team because they knew the Tkachuk brothers were going.
Well, the Tkachuk brothers were, and they may because of that, because the Tkachuk brothers almost beat you because of how they play. And if Matthew was healthy, maybe they win this game. That's the other thing. Matthew doesn't play.
Sure.
For 2 periods and a half. Like,
maybe
if he kept playing, they win. Maybe that was the thing that really killed him in the end. They would have won in regulation if Matthew was still playing.
I think it's a possibility because I think they were really causing chaos in front of the Canadian net, and I think that the Canadian defense couldn't really handle them there.
Yeah.
So the U.S. could get pucks to the net with those guys on the ice. Like it was trouble.
Right.
But it didn't end up working out that way. But Tom Wilson, look, he can score goals. He's physical. He's fast. He's big, and he can play fourth line. He can play fourth line. He can play with fucking Brad Marchand on the fourth line for Team Canada. Go out there, run around, fucking crush somebody, decapitate somebody, take a cheap shot on someone. I mean, he's perfect for going up against the Tkachuks.
Yeah. Ryan M says college kids can't afford the $2,000 price in the door. They can't. Let's see. Zach Haste. Sorry, boys, but fuck yeah, Canada. And what a game and what a tournament. It was a great tournament.
It was.
It was a really good idea. It was well done for the most part. And except for the, maybe you should pick a different medical staff. But other than that, it was fine.
And I mentioned this to you guys, but to the commenters, did anyone else see in the very first game when they gave the player the game things out in like dollar store 99 cent fucking
they had the tissue paper and the
bags with the white tissue paper coming out like what the fuck are we doing, NHL?
It was like your aunt's like terrible gift.
The Four Nations, wood boxes not come in time.
Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Give me some velvet or something.
Like you went down to Christmas tree shops and picked out some fucking bags and tissue paper for 99 cents. Was like, oh, here's your gift. Yeah. It's a 30 pack of gum.
Yeah. Is it the Dollar Tree? Isn't that the $1.25 tree now? I don't even know what that is.
Whatever.
But yeah, you can get like in bulk. Maybe you went to Sam's Club or one of those
VJs. I don't know.
Get it in bulk. Cases of it.
Fucking hell, like
Amazon or what is it? Temu. Maybe they ordered it through there. Zach Case is actually looking forward to the Olympics next year, and I am too. I mean, it's a quick turnaround, and I think it's great. I think it works out that it's a quick turnaround. I think it works
out really well.
Because the people who are casual fans will not forget about it.
Right.
Like they will be right back at it next February. So, and here's the thing about that whole thing I heard a lot of talk about how the NHL is gaining on the NBA and all that. Ludicrous. I mean, the NBA is always far and away better than, not better, but always far and away more popular.
Yes.
Because NHL is still, always will be a regional sport. It will. So there's a lot, and of course, around the world, a lot more people play basketball and hockey. But the other thing is that a lot of people talking about how the NHL's popularity is going to go through the roof of this. They've had situations like this before, like the 2010 Olympics, where everybody was glued to the TV.
Yeah.
And after a while, people just kind of fall off again. Like this isn't going to have legs. Yes. Did it create some popularity and did it get people noticing hockey? Of course. But it's not going to have a ton of longevity with this thing, like, because it never really has in the past. Like, it's going to kind of fade. It's a fad like thing, and then back coming in. That's why the Olympics coming so quickly is a good thing, is because you can get those people again, like a year from now, and not 4 years from now. You can get them a year from now and keep the kind of momentum going. But I think for the most part, like, this is not going to change the hockey forever or NHL forever or anything. It's still going to be the people in the regions play it. You had it in Boston and Montreal. Cold weather sport. It's a expensive sport.
Yeah.
So not everybody plays it.
No.
And not everybody watches it. So yes, this is great. This is great for hockey. It was another sign that when hockey's played at a high level, the other thing is, if these casual fans turn it on Saturday, they're going to fall asleep in the second period. It's not the same hockey.
No,
it's not. So you can't play this way every single night in the NHL. So that's where you lose your momentum. So, but I think it is good. I think it was good for hockey. I think it made people take notice of what high-end hockey can look like, which is pretty great. Like, it's fantastic. Sport.
So you said earlier it's better, and then you corrected yourself rightly so, that it's more popular. NBA basketball is infinitely more popular and always will be. Hockey is the better sport, though.
It is. When it's played, if both are played at a high level, hockey is the better watch.
Yeah.
Without question. Because of the speed, physicality, everything.
Is better than almost anything.
Right. And the fact you don't score much, like when you score, it's an event. Like, there's a lot going for it over the NBA.
No load management. Load management is the biggest bag of shit. Like, I think the biggest argument for why the NHL has a better product is because if you spend the money to go to a game and your time to go to a game, you are most likely going to see the star players on your team unless they are truly injured. There's nobody taking a night off. There's nobody with a fucking hangnail that's out for 10 days. Like, that's kind of a joke.
I remember last year when I went to the Celtics game. I hadn't been to a Celtics game in I don't know how long. And Brown and Tatum and somebody else, maybe Holiday, were all out. Yeah. And I didn't know until I got there. And we spent, it was like $300 a ticket or something.
Yeah.
And those guys didn't play for no apparent reason. Just took the night off.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is in the NBA.
I'm not going to go back to that. Like,
why would you?
I'm watching Luke Cornett play 28 minutes. Like, I can see that down at the Foxborough Premier Courts.
Yes, you can.
Adrienne says, I'm so used to this year's Bruins that it was a little weird seeing such fast skating and good passing. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yes.
I'm with you. The tape-to-tape passing, like, stood out to me. Like, this is what good teams do? Like, wow.
It's amazing what good teams do.
Zach Case says, don't need excuses for USA. They straight up could have won the game. It was close, but as a Canadian, all my children got an extra kiss on the forehead. Well, it's good for you, Zach, and I know that it means a lot to Canadians. So, but the Canadians always seem to beat the US at the end. I mean, they showed it on the graphic.
Yeah,
it was 1996 World Cup that US won. Other than that, it's always Canada that wins the last one.
Yeah, that's what I say. Always happens. The U.S. might get them in the preliminary rounds, but when the medals come up, when it's on the table, Canada usually finds a way.
Yeah, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
Zach K says Cole Caulfield. Yeah, Cole Caulfield would be a good addition.
Absolutely.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, he could take over for Brock Nelson. I think give it a little more speed. Trade Marchand to Colorado for Natchez. Reuniting Chetchia's number one line from last year, Pasta, Zacha, Natchez, says Michigan Mike.
Sweens! I love the sound of that. I think they should do that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm game.
I'm game. Yeah, I'm game. I'm in.
Yep.
Let's see if Sweens can make that happen.
Sure. C2 Paint, we love you too.
Yeah, I would take that all. I would take all my Sween stuff back if he makes that trade.
Sure. Caulfield is a great pull, says Ryan M. Nelson 33, looks 53. Says Heat Grim. He did at times.
He still skates a little better than I do, and I'm only 52. So
yeah. Other than Tkachuk's and maybe Miller, not too many U.S. players got their nose dirty, says Bruins 1970. I mean, that's partly also the way the game is played now.
It is.
Not a lot of guys are willing. And again, these guys make a lot of money. They're not willing to maybe stick their nose in there and get in a fight or, something like that.
There was some hitting. There was some hitting and some hitting from guys that I wouldn't expect. Matt Boldy was out there throwing his weight around.
I'll tell you what,
not really his game.
Boldy is really coming along and really a good player. And I thought Boldy and Eichel, I'm telling you what, Eichel could win a Selke.
He could. He should probably win one.
He is a great penalty killer. He made great block shots tonight. And then defensively, he's really good. I didn't realize he was that good at it. And he's at a high level. I mean, he could have some Selke attention for sure.
He should.
And that just creates, I mean, he's Jesus. I mean, that makes him a top 10 player in the league. If he's that great offensively, he's a center, and he's that great defensively.
Yeah.
Jesus. That's a guy that the Bruins, if I could pick any guy, I think I'm going Jack Eichel. If I could pick one guy that I think would really help the whole picture, like Chelmsford kid, BU, center, offense and defense, like the whole package, age, all of it, prime, I think Jack Eichel will be the perfect guy for them.
Yeah. I mean,
you basically just read Don Sweeney's requirement list.
He did. And that guy is named Elias Lindholm.
You read Don Sweeney's private, porn messages to himself.
He did.
That's the top of the list. He's like, jackeichel.com XXX.
XXX,
yeah.
He's got an Astroglide notepad that says like Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
Elias
lube.
Yeah, Lee Stepniak. All those guys are right on it. Mashi is on the Olympic team, says Zach Hayes. Okay, I'm going to say it right now. We'll come back to it next year, and we'll say right around this time, we'll see if Marchand's on it. We'll see if Marchand's on the Bruins and on the Olympic team. And see which one comes out. Zach Hayes says, do you think Brady would have gone with Wilson? I think he would have skated away. I think Brady would. Matthew would not. I think Brady and Keith would. I think Keith would.
Yeah. Keith now would.
Keith would now. Yeah. From the stands.
Yeah.
I think Brady would.
Brady absolutely would.
Yeah. Brady would. I mean, Matthew would not.
I think Connor wants to chime in.
Going back to this Zach Heist, Jarvis, Konechny, and Marchand comment. Do you think that Connor Bedard has a chance to make the Canadian team next year?
I think he would have to really have a good year next year. He hasn't been great. I know he's on a terrible team, but there are some questions about him. And again, it's a size thing with him too.
Yeah.
He's real slight and small.
I would not
put him on there.
Like Celebrini before I would consider.
Yeah, seriously. There's a bunch of other guys I think I would consider before Bedard right now. Now he could start next year. He could put on 15 pounds, start next year, really come out of the gate great, really well. They make some additions. They're better. He's better. Then we could talk about it. But right now, I wouldn't put him on it.
See, the problem is, what are you going to roll? 4 offensive lines? Like, there's only so many offensive positions to go around. And Canada already has the McDavids and the McKinnons and, Crosby's.
Crosby's probably going to be taking more of a back seat in the Olympic team next year than playing in the top 6, in my opinion. And the only reason I brought up Bedard, I'll say this, is I think it would be neat to have the visual of the 3 generations of Crosby, the McDavid, and then the Bedard all kind of playing together on that same roster one time.
Yeah, it would be neat, but I don't think they're gonna. I mean, maybe they will. Maybe they will. And if he has a really good year, they'll consider it, I think. But
yeah. Well, Zach Hayes mentions Jarvis and Konechny. I mean, I guess he could replace one of those 2 guys. I don't know. I mean, I just right now,
Konechny is really underrated.
He is. Konechny's very good. He is.
Yeah,
I'd like Konechny to be on the Bruins. To be honest.
I mean, Konechny should have been on the team. Should have been on this team.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know. Right now, I'd say no. But if they really want to showcase the players and everything, then maybe they squeeze them in there. I don't know. A lot could change. He's young. He has an off season to get better, stronger. Maybe he does play next year. Cab says, agree, but the NHL did expose the NBA, even if it was just for a couple of weeks. Yeah, they did, but the NBA is in a real rut right now. They don't have a lot of star power. Like, their stars are aging, and their new stars just don't have the same bang for the buck. I don't care what you say about Weber, Yama, or whatever. They just don't have the same flair and cachet as the stars of the 80s and 90s and LeBron and Kobe and those guys. They just don't have the same bang for the buck.
On Kobe, Jordan, Bird.
There's a star power issue there in the NBA for the new guys.
Plus, the way the game is played now absolutely fucking sucks.
It's brutal.
So that's what the main problem is. It's a drive and kick league now, and then you hoist 3-pointers. No one you could go down the YMCA and watch that.
You can watch that in high school basketball.
Yeah. That's what everybody does. And it sucks. It stinks. Yeah. Nobody wants to see you miss fucking, hit 35% from 3, but because you take 83 pointers, you win 120 to 115. Yeah. No one gives a flying fuck.
And everybody's the same.
It's awful.
There's no there's no compete level defensive, plays. There's no plays at the rim. There's no different types of players. Like, there's no guy down low making a play, or there's none of that.
You want to talk about passing in the NHL? Passing in the NBA sucks now.
Oh, it's terrible.
There's no creativity passing in the NBA anymore.
I just watched before the NHL on YouTube a game in 1992 between the Portland Trailblazers and Boston Celtics. Now, the Celtics are aging. It's 92, and Portland is an NBA title contender. Yeah. It was 150. It was 151 to 147 in double overtime.
I remember that.
But it was up and down, and guys making shots from all over the court. And Clyde Drexler had 41, and Bird had 49, and it was just it was great basketball. It was great passing. All 5 guys would touch it, and then someone would put it in. It was just awesome to watch.
Funny you mentioned 1992. Because I've been hearing this debate, and one of my friends is diehard NBA, fuck the NHL. And I looked at the numbers from the NBA from the Jordan era in the early 90s to now for their all-star game kind of viewership. And it was around 10, 12, 13 million in the mid 90s. Mm-hmm. And now it's 4.6 and has slowly crept lower and lower and lower.
Because you don't want to watch those stars. I mean, name the stars you want to watch in that league now.
Number one, they stopped playing defense in the All-Star game.
Yeah, it's stupid.
And
the same thing happened with the NHL. It became a non-checking game, and nobody want to watch it.
Yeah. When you don't play it like you play it in the regular season, then no one cares. If players don't care, then no one else cares.
Nobody else cares. Yeah. Players have to care. Yeah, I agree.
The best All-Star game right now is Major League Baseball, because you can't not play the way you play. The pitchers can't just throw 70 and the guys have to hit. So it's the best one by default, because all the other ones are, NHL, they just skate around and it's no checking. No one cares. NBA, they just dunking and hoisting threes. And the NFL is a fucking flag football game now.
Yeah.
They don't even fucking do it.
They don't do it. Yeah. Kyle Glusha says, this grew hockey popularity because of the 3 fights and major physicality. I had non-hockey people texting me when the game was going to get good the whole game. Don't think this will really grow the game. And I don't think so either, Kyle. I think this is a one shot.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, the game's played the way it's meant to be played, but you can't do that for 82 games. So if these casual fans watch Saturday night, they're not going to see the same thing. So you can't replicate it. You can only replicate it once every 4 years or in these type of tournaments or the Stanley Cup finals. C2 Paint says, guys, 60 minutes of hockey and only 1 penalty. And I'll be honest with you. I don't mind it. And I'll ask you this, what penalties did you see? I mean, I don't remember much of saying Jesus, got away with that one. Like, I don't remember really seeing anything that I thought was so
Canada
egregious.
got away with the too many men, and they got away with there was a play that was similar to like the Trocheck play. Somebody got dumped somewhere, and they
Trocheck play itself, he got cross-checked in the back,
Well,
which led him to
yeah.
face plant on the ice.
Right. But I mean,
honestly,
look, I wouldn't have called the cross check, and I would have let the trip go because of the cross check. So I wouldn't have called the trip either because he got cross checked down.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I mean, it's really, I'm
glad they stayed out of it.
If you want scoring, you want a few power plays, a little more excitement, I guess. But this is the way that it should be played. You don't want the referees to decide games like this anyway. So
you can't have it both ways, because you bitch about the referees having too much input, and then you say, well, how come there's only one penalty? I'd rather there be less penalties, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Let the players compete and figure it out. They'll police it and they'll figure it out. If it gets sloppy, then call a penalty.
Yeah, it was refereed like a game 7 for the most part.
And that's how game 7s are refs.
And I thought they handled it pretty well. I mean, I'm the first one to jump down Chris Rooney's ass because he sucks as a referee.
Yeah.
But he did a good job tonight. He was out there tonight, and he did a good job with that other clown.
He did.
But
yeah. Samuel says, where did you see the report that Ottawa is dangling Tkachuk? I think about a month ago or so, there were some questions about Tkachuk and how he fit with the team, and maybe some things where he might be available. I don't know how much it was an actual firm thing, but I had heard through a few and I'd seen and read through a few outlets that maybe his name would be out there. And I haven't really heard much of it since.
No,
but
with good reason.
And with good reason. I mean, you can see why you would never trade that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, there was some talk that maybe they because they weren't playing well, and there was some stuff where is he really fitting in with his team, and he's kind of getting on some guys and that kind of thing. So, but I don't think he's going to be let go at all.
Producer Connor wants to chime in.
So you're correct about the reports earlier about him, but I think what he's talking about is the recent one that popped up from Frank.
Frank Saravelli. Yeah, that was a
fake report on Twitter saying that was a fake Reinhardt for Brady Tkachuk swap. Fake report.
Yeah, it's a fake account.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you what, you can't tell me that the Tkachuks aren't dying to play together.
Yeah,
I mean, play like this, and they're like, Jesus, how do we make this happen? And I'm telling you, I think it could happen at some point. I really do. I think it could happen. They could force that if they really wanted to.
Sure.
And it might happen down the road, and I wouldn't be surprised if it did, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Is that they're in the same division, and it's hard to do that thing. But Florida's already made a big hockey trade to get Matthew.
Yeah.
So they're not afraid
to
do that. So, I think it'd be more likely that he goes to Ottawa rather than the other way around. But we'll see. So that'll do it. Canada wins it 3-2 in overtime. Hey, we're back at it Saturday night after the Anaheim Ducks Boston Bruins hockey game, and the NHL gets back at it. The Bruins are 2 points out of a playoff spot when they've played like 70 more games than everybody else. So, but hey, they're 15%.
15% chance. What did I say they were? What did I say they were going to be when this Four Nations? Where did I say they were going to be?
Sixth place. Where are they? Sixth place. Yeah, they're sixth place in the division. So join us Saturday night. And hey, check out the episode we did last night if you haven't already. It's on YouTube and it's all over the podcast networks and Apple and all that good stuff. Hey, thanks everybody for checking in on a non-Bruins night. We'll see you Saturday. Go Bruins.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.